Hi, I'm Dave. This is the Cyderbaby pod, and I am joined today by Goddamn Smile. Hello.
Hello, Dave.
Right,
How are you?
I'm pretty good, mate. How are you?
Very, very good, thank you.
Introduce yourselves.
Stu, go first.
Me go first.
Oh,
I'm the short, grumpy, guitar-playing songwriter with Goddamn Smile.
Okay, cool. I had heard the grumpy bit, so yeah.
oh, he's not. He makes it out though as though he is, but he isn't. But he's probably all them late nights from the 86,407 gigs he's done. Which is probably an accurate figure, actually, or there or thereabouts. But Stu's definitely seeing a lot of the road. I'm Gary. I'm the singer and other songwriter as well. Well, we all do our bit in Goddamn Smile, but I've been writing with Stu for, I think we did a broadcast album in 2019.
We started
with broadcast, and we did a show with Massive Wagons on there, breaking out the studio tour, and then the band kind of folded, and then we didn't fold. Two of the lads didn't want to do any live stuff really, going out on the road, so we decided to carry on and just write and record, and then we got a couple of new guys in along the way, and here we are now.
Yes.
So I first heard of Goddamn Smile when I come across the single 5 a.m. So was that the first single you guys did, or
second?
Second?
Yes, Hindsight was the first single,
Right.
and we were here at my place, and something came up, and there was a song that we heard, and we kind of liked the vibe and the feel of it.
Right.
Anyway, within Gary and James, our drummer, had gone outside, and within 5 minutes had come in with this. There was one of us, there was two of us, there was three, or was it four? That was how it started. And then within half an hour, we'd had the basic song written and bedded out. So that was how 5 a.m. came about. Hindsight was a lot more of a longer progress, because that started, the first single started when lockdown was in.
Right.
And so our drummer James is basically my neighbour, so we were kind of COVID buddies. So we worked together all the time. So I'd be writing all the ideas and then sending them to Gary, and then he'd be coming up with his bits. So, like he said, there's at least 30 songs. At least. Wow. It's probably more, in fact. But the more since Hindsight and 5 a.m., we have gone down more that way of working and writing,
right,
which has been a bit more where we've been sat and where I've been swearing at Gary and he's been coming up with ideas, and we've just been bouncing backwards and forwards for an hour or two. And then that every song just comes together like that. So it doesn't really take any time. The gear's all here. So we just bash on. The kit's behind me, as you can see. Yep. So the kit's always set up and ready to record. So we just crack on and get it done. And it's just got easier while we've done it. Like with Superheroes was so easy to do. That was a 5-minute song, really. It took to, and that just all came together like that. It's pretty straightforward.
Superheroes was your... Oh,
sorry, Dave. Go on.
No, Superheroes is your last single, yeah?
Yeah, that was the last one. But just going back to what Stu was saying about Superheroes and that writing process, whereas sometimes I think, you can overthink things. I mean, if you listen back to some of the broadcast stuff, it's really quite proggy. And then when we left TMR management, we started with Peter, and then fortunately Peter had a brief health setback and he reduced his roster. So we then went over to Ford JMP. Yeah. And John, basically, I sent him the broadcast album, and he said, you know, I appreciate it from a musical perspective. He said, but it's just not for me. So I said, well, that's funny you should say that, because we've been writing some new material. So I sent him over 4 or 5 demos, and he loved those. And he said, right, okay, I'll work with you. So this was sort of round about when COVID was really, really biting hard, to be fair. So all we wanted to do was just, we thought, well, we'll make the best of the time, because there's nothing else we can do at this moment in time. So we just wrote, and obviously we were all locked down to start with. So we'd get onto Skype or Zoom or whatever, and we'd kind of just bounce ideas across via WeTransfer. And Stu at that point was just writing loads and loads of riffs, and I was writing the melodies to them and the lyrics. And then what happened was sort of post COVID, and we thankfully coming out the other end of it, all being well. It's been a bad time, especially for bands and musicians, and it's been a really, really tough time. And when we've been able to get back together and actually sit in a room, things have changed again, because what we're doing now is we're just sitting down and writing together. And I think that process has worked really well for us. It's been quite relaxed and enjoyable. And like Stuart said, you know, because James lives so close as well, he'll literally come in and he'll listen to, we'll put an initial idea down with Anders or whoever on Logic, and he'll come in, and obviously he'll just get his total own idea of how he wants it to go, and we just literally record songs that quickly. There's nothing too sort of drawn out about it, really. It's just been a really enjoyable process, to be honest, Dave. And I think that's coming out in the songs now. We're not thinking too hard about it and just enjoying it, you know. So
you've got that certain chemistry, and it seems to be working.
Well, sometimes, I mean, I met Stuart. I was 16 and was playing in a band called Inside Out, and we supported him at Kendal Town Hall. And Freeway, the band he was with at the time, was kind of post some of the original bands that he'd been and worked with and been signed to and done tours with Higher Rocks, all kinds of different bands. And he took a hiatus from that and then just went and did covers and just wanted to get away from it all, I think. And I met him when I was 16, and then we didn't meet again until 26 years later in a local pub called the Duke. And I just bumped into him at the bar, and I said, do I know you? He said, yeah, of course you know me. And I was like, oh, yeah. So it all started there with the broadcast stuff, and then we're here today with Goddamn Smile and just writing and enjoying it, really.
Excellent. Yeah. So what is next for Goddamn Smile?
Stu, do you want to answer that?
Go on, Stu.
Hopefully gigging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody's saying that.
I don't know. It's just to keep doing what we do and trying to produce the best quality material we can do as obviously an unsigned band, but I quite like being an unsigned band. I think it has more there's more control over what you do and how you promote it and everything else. So generally most of that is me, it's Gary and I anyway. So we tend to do everything in regards to all that aspect of everything. Obviously I do everything here, recording wise, and we do everything in here. So once we've done that, then I mix it, master it, and it goes out from there. So to carry on, to be able to just carry on doing that as well is good, because it gives us a chance to build up a really good repertoire for both gigging and album wise, and it just keeps going. And so that's good. That's the main thing, I think, just to keep going as we are and try and push as hard as we can.
Right.
Yeah, I think from a perspective of we've just promised ourselves now, you know, I mean, James is 32 and Tom he's 18. the other guitar player in the band, he's my son, and everyone's got such a lot going on in our lives. You know, we're all rock fans, and we all love rock music and playing and listening to it. I mean, I was listening to a bit of Breaking Benjamin before all my sins before we got on here, you know, and I was just Stuart, and I quite like them. I like what they do with all the vocal melodies and that. But the thing is, there's such a contrast in ages, but it's so good that rock music, especially, I think, it's not pretentious in a way that age doesn't matter. It's what you produce, and if you're writing good music, and all our mission I think from my perspective is, and I probably speak for Stu as well, is if we keep on trying to write good quality music and bringing it out on a regular drum beat, that I think everything else will naturally fall into place, hopefully, afterwards, because you hope people enjoy your music. We're not in this absolutely massive rush to we haven't got unrealistic expectations, but we're just enjoying what we're doing. And you just hope that in any one week, if another 1, 2, 10, 15, 20 people like what you're doing and cotton onto it, they'll know that from our perspective, from a band, that you'll constantly receive sort of a regular stream of new music, because of the backlog, because of COVID, we're just going to keep releasing it and bringing it out. And there's quite a mixture in there, really. You know, I mean, obviously, I sent Bleed Out of Love to you, Dave, and that's probably the sort of the slowest sort of ballady song that we've done. We've got a couple of others. One called Box of Memories. There's another one called When the Sunlight Fades. We've done Being You is another one we did, I think, Stu. Yeah. Back Home, which we've always thought that was wrote years ago. I'd love to do that. And we've done about doing a kind of Alice in Chains thing. So releasing a record with sort of the electric sort of versions of everything, but also sort of bringing out a little EP of the more chilled out stuff, you know, a bit like Jar of Flies and Sap, and doing it that way. So we just hope that people keep enjoying the new music, and that's all you can hope for, isn't it, really? What more can you do? You know, just keep doing it and enjoy it, and that's what we're trying to do. So, and it's good of people like you that, you know, give us time to come and talk about it, and we really appreciate that, because that means everything to us. You know, we'd rather that somebody had a vested interest in what we're doing and genuinely enjoys the stuff than somebody saying, oh, well, you know, we'll put you on X radio station or whatever, but that'll be the only time we ever play you. It's nice that you build up friendships and you get to know people, and you get that sort of camaraderie, and then, you know, that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah, it's getting your own network around you, people who like what you do, but they're keen to know what's going on, and that's important for it's always been that way for me in everything I've ever done, is that it's more important building up a good relationship with people who A, come to see you, and B, buy your stuff, or in these days stream it or download it. Because everything has changed from when I was first doing it. It was 78 when I first started. So
you got quite a pedigree then.
Well, I first started playing in pubs when I was 15, around Kendal, because we'd moved from Scotland. We'd been from Scotland to East Anglia to Bath and then to Kendal, and started playing when I was 12. My brother was 10.
Right.
He was playing drums, I was playing guitar, but I was playing bass as well, because my dad said that would be an easier way for you to get work to start with. So that's what I did. Yeah. So me and my brother played with this Liverpudlian guy who lived locally in Kendal. We'd moved to Kendal, and we were basically playing country and western and stuff like that, which is good grounding, and enjoyed it. And then my brother and I started our own band called Baton Rouge, and I moved on to guitar by this point, and we were playing all kinds of stuff from Rush, Thin Lizzy, even stuff like the Skids, and I'm trying to think who else. There were 10cc. There was all kinds of stuff we were doing, because my brother and I had a broad taste. And then in '79, I joined a band called Silverwing, and the guy was then the deputy editor of Sounds magazine.
All right.
I'd taken a liking to was a guy called Jeff Barton,
Yeah.
and so when we brought out a single called Rock and Roll the Four Letter Words. It was like an EP, and he went a bit nuts on that song, and we were starting to do sort of reasonable gigs, and we did this festival. It was like an all-day event at the what back in the day was called the Hop and Grape, which is Academy 2 now in Manchester.
Right.
And we played there, and we were supporting Diamond Head, and there was Diamond Head, there was us, a band called Sacred Alien, and Cloven Hoof, I think, was the other band, if I remember rightly.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, because of that gig, we got the Diamond Head tour in the summer of '81, so we supported them all around the country, which it was a good laugh, you know, and we were always setting flash bombs off, and any excuse to set pyros off. We were kiss mad, and so it had to be pyros at every show. My hair caught fire one night, all kinds of like stupid things happened, you know, that could only happen. It was Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
So anyway, after that tour, the singer decided to decamp to New York to do some work, and I got fed up and did this demo that I call Macax, which was again picked up by Jeff, and Jeff said, "Oh, you've got to release this, it's great." So I did 500 copies of cassette, sold them all. They all went straight away, because he had this column called R in Sounds, and he gave the tape 5 stars. So, and this was in the very first edition of that. And then with Silverwing, we were in the very first edition of Kerrang as well. So it was all this kind of thing, was like spiraling. Then I did the Macax thing, and then I was asked to rejoin Silverwing, so I rejoined that. Then we became Pet Hate. We did 2 albums for Heavy Metal Records called The Bride Wore Red and Bad Publicity. Bad Publicity was produced by Eddie Leonetti, who produced Legs Diamond, Angel, I think Moxie. I can't remember, loads of them. Quite a lot of sort of upcoming American bands. And and we toured with Hanoi Rocks.
Wow, that's, yeah.
So that was when they first signed to CBS. So obviously Razzle was still alive at this point. And we did a full UK tour with them. And then we went in and recorded the second album. And then during that period of time, I got really fed up with it all. And there was no money around. It was all the usual stuff. And so I left, and then I stopped playing for a while. And I was writing with, I'd been writing with him for quite a while, but Seb Kozak, lead singer with Rocks. Well, I worked with him for about 10 years, and we were like songwriting partners, and we were doing all kinds of stuff, you know, but we were like big into Prince, so we were doing all this really weirdo stuff. And well, you know, it was different. It was like, let's not put any guitars on anything. Let's just have lots of keyboards and a drum machine. It'll be fine, whatever. So we just did that. And we had great fun. I had a great time working with him. We were still good friends. But so I did that as well. So, and then I'd had enough. Took some time out, and then I joined Freeway. And that's when I first met Gary. And I joined Freeway the year that he actually met me. And I went on playing keyboards doing that. So I was playing keyboards. I've done everything. The only thing I've not done in a band is play drums.
There's still time.
No,
I don't encourage him.
No, please don't.
Yeah. He can play everything else.
But so then I spent years with Freeway and a band called the Fabulous Picasso Brothers and a band called Storm. And Storm and the Fabulous Picasso Brothers ran together at the same time, because Dave and I, who were in Storm, played with the other band. So it kind of, we could run the two side by side without any bother. So one was playing rock stuff some of our own stuff, some covers, and then Picasso Brothers was playing mainly at by this point, which was called the modern country stuff. So yeah, and then in 2014, I basically had enough, and that was it. I stopped and just recorded from home. I didn't really want to do anything else, and then I met him.
So it's all your fault, Gary.
Well, it was like, I was like, oh, do you want to record some stuff? He's like, no.
Yeah.
Done it. No. All right, can I bring the lab? We just do a bit of jamming, you know. No. You've got a recording studio though, haven't you? Surely, yeah, we can come round. Oh, for God's sake, yeah, all right then. And then it all started from there. So here we are, about 60 songs later, but yeah. So it's all good.
Okay, so the next song from Goddamn Smile then. Tell me about it.
Go on, Stu, you can start.
It's Bleed Out of Love.
Yeah.
It was Gary's concept of a love song. And it came together pretty easy because he said he wanted something that was kind of heavy, but he wanted it with acoustic guitars on. So I went, yeah, sure, that sounds great. So I, yeah, basically that was what it was. So again, it took half an hour?
Yeah, Bleed Out of Love's the first and last take vocally, and it was meant to be a demo. And I sat in that chair, which is next to Stu now, and I was sat down, that one, and I sat down, and we actually put the mic down, and we'd had about probably about 8 or 10 Morettis, and and I just sat down. I said, right, I'll just put a guide vocal down, and we'd had a good day, hadn't we? We'd put all the music down to it pretty much, and I just said, I'll do a guide vocal, put it down, and then I'll come down and do it properly when I can see straight, and basically, I just sang it, sat down, and then Stu turned around to me and he went, well, that was all right, actually. So I said, right, well, come back tomorrow. And then we sat, I think, Sunday afternoon, I think it was. Yeah. I came back round just to redo it. And we played it back, and I just said, I don't think I can do that any better, to be fair. And sometimes when you don't try too hard and you just relax, that's what comes out. And I think there's a couple of cracks on the vocal here and there. I think maybe on one, but we just left it in because it just sounded natural. We just thought, let's just leave it as it is because it just sounds natural. And that literally is the first and last song I've ever done in the first take.
And the truth of it is, it was just that. It was, I just ran the take all the way through. And I just said, just sing it. Just sing it. Let's, just do it. Because we've done everything else. We can't,
And you couldn't go back and do it like that again.
No.
If you know what I mean, Dave. Because if I sat down and tried to sing it the way I'd sang it then, it's just the time, the place, the circumstance, and just it just came out like that. I don't think I'd ever sing it twice the same again. It's difficult to recapture little sort of moments like that. But there's a lot of feeling on that record. I mean, it's basically about longevity in life and love and the people that you really care about, and the fact that you go through the mill quite a lot, and everybody's been through the mill in life, in relationships and with family, and with sadness and happiness and things like that, and that basically, that track is meant to just kind of encompass all that. And even when you kind of grow apart from people, I don't think deep down, whether you're together with them or whether you're not together, there's always a sort of a place inside for people that touch you in a certain way in life. So, it's a bit of a soft one for us, really, but, it just came out, and that was the way it came out. And we just thought, that's pretty nice. And then, Tom came in and he put a beautiful solo on it, and I take my hat off to him, because me and Stu sat next to each other, and you know, Tom's that laid back, he'd fall off his chair, wouldn't he, Stu? Do you know what I mean? We're pulling our hair out with him sometimes, you know, like we get like a week towards the Massive Wagons gig and be like, oh, what songs are we doing? It's just like, what? You know, because we're obviously of an age, and he just came into the studio and he was just like, he just nailed it. But I mean, with a bit of coaching from Stu, because obviously Stu's an absolutely phenomenal musician and a brilliant guitar player in his own right, and for him to give a young lad sort of the space to do that, you know, it means a lot to me, and I'm sure it does to Tom and everybody else that's watching a young guitar player sort of coming through, because, you know, I don't think there's probably tons of 18-year-old guitar players out there, but he's good, he's doing it in the studio as well and enjoying it. So, and it's great to have him part of it. And James, well, you can't really, he's most certainly the best drummer I've ever, one of the best drummers I've watched live, just in his own way, because his hero's Brad Wilk from Audio Slave, and he's quite understated, but when he plays live, he plays with such ferociousness and passion and power. And he always surprises us in the studio. And again, James is just such a great guy to be around, and there's just that chemistry between us all, and it just seems to work. And so long may it continue, you know, because we're just having bloody fun at the moment, you know. And that's
very on both the James and the Tom thing. I'll say, for me, it's about giving someone the chance to go and do it, because they've got it. You know, they've got it. It's like, you know, when I was young, it was like give the guy a go, you know. And that's how I've always been, because that's how I was treated. So I do exactly the same. I heard Keith Urban talking not so long ago, and he said that he was on tour in Australia supporting Billy Connolly, and Billy Connolly he broke a string, and Billy Connolly had actually restrung his guitar from him and gave him it back. And he said, I always give the same people that kind of thing back that I got, and that's how I feel, because when we've toured when we toured with Hanoi, it was like equal status, that and with other people when we've worked with, they would just like, is everything all right, lads, if you've got all you need? And that like pays off, because that's what it's all about for me. And both with Tom and James is outstanding. I've never known a young lad I've never known a drummer like him who live and breathe the click track, and he just does it, and it's just amazing to be sat and watch him doing it while I'm sat here and he's just there behind me, you know. And it's brilliant to see, and thoroughly enjoyable. And that's what it should be all about, giving the young ones the break, because they're the future. It's not it's not me, it's them. They are the future.
Okay, guys, I think we'll wrap it up there. When is the new single out?
It's out on the 10th, Dave, on Spotify and all platforms, but I think it's gone out to radio now.
Ideal. I should play it tomorrow morning then.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you.
Oh, don't worry, I've only got 1 or 2 listeners.
So we at the moment.
Okay, Gary, Stuart, thank you very much for your time. And
Thank
hopefully we'll meet up soon.
Yeah,
all
thank
right.
you very much.
Look after yourself. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye. Bye.